I know that you've been at the helm of your company for about 2 months now. You already have a management plan out there with some shifts in your portfolio. Tell us a little bit about the biggest changes that we can expect at Sumitomo.
Last 3 years, we have been working for the structural reform. So now it's changed the mood. I would like to change the mood from defense to offense. So in other words, we will have to realize the dramatic growth in next 3 years. That's why I try to change our company's mindset. Then the main theme is number one in each business line. So that's a kind of that mindset. But at the same time, I would like to accelerate the reallocation of our management resources into the focus area. That's the main part.
Tell us a little bit about those focus areas, because as you said, you have so many different business lines.
Exactly. That's right. Yes. There are, especially there are 8 business lines: real estate or steel businesses, healthcare, agriculture, so many things. Just I pick up 3 examples. One is agriculture business, agribusinesses. We are doing the fertilizer or biochemical that we will expand to the seed sales, or in addition to that, the other type of the agricultural products we are now selling in Latin America, in Europe, and we would like to expand. That's the first one. And second one is construction machinery businesses. Historically, we have been working in Canada and the United States. It's a sales and also the rental business. The rental business will be expanded to the Singapore and other Southeast countries, and then we are targeting to the Europe. That's the second one. The third one is the real estate that we would like to develop, that the city or urban development project centered on real estate. That's what we are targeting. All those 3 has the strengths, experience, or competitive advantage.
When you're talking about expansion in your business,
yes.
Are we talking about growth coming organically or even through M&As?
Even through M&A.
How would a very cheap Japanese yen play into that strategy? Because M&As become more expensive when the yen is this weak.
Exactly. However, we just count on that dollar basis. So that's why nothing changed, regardless of the yen depreciation or appreciations. We would like to see what is the value in dollar, and then we will decide to invest into those businesses or not. So then, at the same time, the businesses where we are confident will increase the corporate value, that company's value. Then we decided to go into the investment.
Does that mean that so far you're not seeing a meaningful impact from the depreciation of the yen?
I don't think so.
Do you expect to see more meaningful impact? Because I know that your yen assumption for until March of 2025 was 140. We're around 160 and people are talking about 170.
I know. When I made that midterm plan, our assumption was that the U.S.-Japan interest gap will be narrower at that time. But actually, as you said, that the yen is depreciated further. So I'm not sure what will happen in the future. But I think the interest gap will be slowly narrower, and then yen depreciation maybe change to the appreciations. But I think it is good for our company to some extent, because that the yen is depreciated, and 1 yen maybe how much? 2 billion? No, 2 billion yen increase.
A depreciation of 1 yen would actually equal to 2 billion yen
2 billion increase
in profits.
In profit. However, such a prolonged, say, Japanese yen depreciation will not good for the country's strengths in the long run, you know.
Tell us a little bit about that, because we have seen, of course, that overall the yen weakness has helped those exporters in Japan, but at the same time, households and smaller businesses have suffered. You have business lines in different sectors of the Japanese economy. At what point does it become too painful?
You know, if the yen depreciation is due to the lack of the domestic demand for funds, and then, as I said, in the long run, that the Japanese economy will getting weak and weak. So we need to create the domestic demand for funds in these countries.
We're seeing a lot of interest from overseas businesses, foreign investors as well in Japan, and you've decided to boost your return to shareholders as well. Why now?
I think market is paying attention to Sumitomo Corporation. Many investors are showing the interest. That's very good things, and we would like to increase the shareholders' return. So that's why we decided to change our policy, the shareholders' return policy, to attract them.
Is there some negative attention as well? We know that Elliott management apparently increased their stake at Sumitomo.
We always appreciate the support of investors who show the interest and who believes in our future growth or potential.
Are you having those conversations with Elliott?
I cannot say anything about the conversation with specific, investors. But I think we are very open to discuss with the various investors, and if there is a very good recommendation or suggestions, that we will try to utilize those ideas. So,
have you gotten some of those recommendations from Berkshire Hathaway as well?
Oh, actually, that we have been communicating with them, but they are also saying that they are expecting that our future growth. So we would like to do just upon their expectation.